House of Representatives donates 100 million naira to Borno flood victims. House advocates use of federal character principles to plug recruitment and infrastructure gap in federal universities. And lawmakers urge agricultural research institutions to lead the way in addressing food shortage. Thank you for joining us on You and Your Reps. I am Victor, as welcome. Members of the House of Representatives have donated 100 million naira to the Maiduguri flood victims. Now, this was announced by Representative Al-Hassan Ado-Dogua, who led the House delegation to commiserate with the government and people of Borno State over the flood disaster that affected more than 2 million people in Maiduguri and environs.
The visit was at the instance of the Speaker and the entire membership of the House to sympathize with the government and people of Borno over the disaster that massively disrupted social and economic lives of millions.
We as a House will be poised to accepting any attempt to intervention from the federal government, as the case may be. Legally, it means coming up with a special intervention that will require appropriation to address this and similar other cases in the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
My sincere gratitude to the Speaker of the House of Representatives and in particular this very important delegation for commiserating with the government and people of Borno State over the recent flooding that has severely affected the social economic activities of the people of the state.
The House of Representatives delegation also visited the Shehu Borno, Abubakar ibn Umar Garba El Kanemi, on a similar mission, during which they prayed Allah to avert future occurrence.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives is to engage the Minister of Education on the need to enhance federal character principles in the recruitment process and addressing infrastructure gap in federal universities. Now, this follows a visit by the House Committee on University Education to Bayero University, Kano, and other tertiary institutions in the Northwest.
Violation of the revenue streams to the Federation account and case of domineering in the recruitment process remain the source of concern in most of the federal universities.
And we have the details of those various infrastructural projects where you spent over 1 billion.
The institution did not provide the breakdown of the overhead costs for the meaningful appraisal. So please, you have to work on that.
When are you planning to do your next recruitment? So the last recruitment, which to me, it didn't follow the federal character.
After all these service charges, it is now what is not from that sense that is considered as a revenue, and it is from that is actually detected the remittance to the federal government. So this is an issue that we are always battling with, that definitely most of what is accrued is spent almost in the student before the end of the session.
The interface between the committee and management of the Federal University Dusima, Kaduna State was put off due to the absence of the Vice Chancellor. The oversight engagement at ABU Zaria was also cut short.
The interface is called off, and the management of ABU hereby summoned to appear before the committee at a date to be announced later.
The oversight visit also took members to the newly upgraded Federal Colleges of Education in Zaria and Kano. The new management were told to follow due process in recruitment and internally generated revenue spendings.
Later on, we asked Chairman of the House Committee on University Education, Abubakar Fulata, to share his thoughts on some recent developments in the education sector.
For a long time, the national policy on education is based on 6334.
That's all. So it is assumed that before you get to university, you have attained the age of 18. That's all. It's not a new policy. It has always been our education policy, national policy on education. So it's not a distance. So create a shouting all over the place. It's a non-issue. It has always been like that. That's our national policy on education. There are instances when you have geniuses, people who are extraordinarily intelligent. Their IQ ab initio is higher, even though they are children, but their IQ has surpassed those of adults. So maybe people are talking of those exceptional situations. You have people becoming professors at the age of less than 20, professors. Well, how IQ? They are even as teenagers, they have already surpassed the IQ of people who are advanced in age. So there are exceptions, but the issue of the entry age to universities have always been part. It has always been 18, and that's always part of our national policy on education. So it's not a new thing, but there are exceptions for kids that are exceptionally intelligent, and then under such circumstances, some of the universities to which they gain admission are outside the country, it's outside our jurisdictions. But even here in Nigeria, if there are such exceptionally good students, why not? But the issue, the age of 18 has been pegged by our national policy on education. We are yet to commence our own. Very soon we'll conduct public hearing. What the executive did is to blacklist certain institutions with preponderance of malfeasance in their educational output. That's all they did. Ours is a very thorough one. We are going to dig deep. We are going to interface with all the institutions, all tertiary institutions, both within Nigeria and those institutions from our neighboring countries that have been fingered in the problem of certificate racketeering. So our own is deep and very wide investigation. It's a dragnet. We are going to be very, very discreet. We are going to be very careful, and we are going to be very comprehensive.
The House Committee on Agricultural Colleges and Institutions wants bodies within its purview to lead the way in conducting research that will address food security challenges in the country. Chairman of the committee, Akeem Adeyemi, made the remarks during the committee's oversight visit to the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria.
The Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria and other agricultural institutions play pivotal roles in developing innovative solutions to challenges faced in the sector. The chairman says the House will continue to provide the necessary legislative and financial backing to support agricultural institutions in research and enhancing food security.
We want to commend the RCM for the mechanism put in place to talk to Nigerians The youth want to know what is happening in agriculture. The youth want to know how far the research has gone. The lecturers in the colleges and institutions of agriculture want to know what the RCN is doing to coordinate. So we want, and what they and the partnership they have with the international donor and agric international agency, we are pleased with what to see today.
A guided tour of the facility was conducted by the executive secretary with committee members to various units, which include broadcast stations, a library, museum, veterinary clinic, aquarium, and ongoing projects to expand the center.
The collaborative nature of our own activities here, I think, is beginning to yield dividends. The discoveries, technological discoveries, we have all sent it out to people, for farmers to actually utilize. We are hoping that if our technologies are adequately adopted, I think this country will be better for it.
ARCN has the mandate of coordinating supervision and regulation of agricultural research, training and extension in the national agricultural research institutions and federal colleges of agriculture, cooperatives, and land resources.
Elsewhere, reactions continue to trail the signing into law of the Southeast and Northwest Development Commission bills. Now, the latest is from the member representing Ikwo, Ezza South constituency of Ebonyi State in the Southeast, Chinedu Ogah, and Abubakar Fulata, who represents Bereniwa Guri Kirikasama constituency of Jigawa State in the Northwest.
He's going to create job opportunity. It's exciting because he's still going to bring more development to the Southeast, like as other people have. So it's a welcome development. We appreciate that. It's a joint venture that everybody in National Assembly, especially most of all from Southeast, dream for. So it's a welcome development.
It's a welcome development, especially taking into consideration the fact that Northwest is one of the 6 geopolitical zones that has been bedeviled with very, very serious security challenges over the time. These security challenges are so devastating that it has permeated all sectors of life. It has affected farming, it has affected business, it has affected education, it has affected virtually all facets of the lives of the people. And that's where you have the largest population of the country. Many people have been displaced. The security challenges also made it impossible for government to rehabilitate infrastructure. This infrastructure, be it roads, schools, hospitals, and other critical institutions. So, for the President to assent to the bill creating the Northwest Development Commission, saying yes, we've heard you, we've appreciated your challenges, and we are taking measures to address those challenges.
The Nigerian legislature functions largely with committees, so there are different kinds of committees. But today we focus on special committees. What are they and how do they function different from the others? We asked Chairman of the House Committee on Rules and Business, Francis Waive.
The term special committees, as used in Parliament, refer to committees that are not usually standing committees that are available throughout the tenure of the Parliament, but just a committee that is put in place, sometimes from both chambers, where there's a bicameral legislature to deal with a particular issue. And immediately after that issue is discussed and resolved, they turn in their report, and that's the end of the assignment of that committee. So they are different from committees that are standing, or committees in the House, or even statutory committees. Statutory are such that you must have, like in the beginning of every assembly, there must be a selection committee or a select committee. Such, those are statutory committees. But special are raised for specialized purposes, for particular purposes, and once that purpose is achieved, it's gone. It's also different from ad hoc committees, because ad hoc committees are usually they are more short term, and they are more broader in their outlook in short term. But special committee are usually specialized, and in most cases, both chambers are involved in that special committee to deal with a particular issue, and thereafter, that's the end of the special committee.
This week on You and Your Reps, the committee segment focuses on reformatory institutions, with chairman of the committee weighing in on the escape of 281 inmates of the Medium Security Custodial Center in Maiduguri following unprecedented flooding.
A week before then, we had our oversight in Borno State, well received by the governor of Borno State. To be very frank, Borno is among the best correction centers in Nigeria. We could not go to the medium, where we visited the maximum. The nature of what they have in maximum prison is very good. The support of the state government, the support of UNODC, and equally the correction service, because there are a lot of innovation and skills there. And among the correction centers in the whole country, Borno State is where you have less inmates than any other place. The event that happened of the flood is a kind of an emergency. But the major issue is that we have a clamoring that almost greater number of the correction centers in this country are already outdated. Some of them are 100 years, some are 100 and something years, some are 90 years. The force of those concrete have lost the integrity test. It needs to be recorrected and do another new ones. And that is why I have been going on oversight, encouraging governors to come in partnership according to the law of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who have empowered them to build, construct, and manage a correction center. But the key thing is that we only take action when it happens. We don't care about the correction service. We don't care about the welfare of the correction service. We forget to know that this is where most people will think of that causing insecurity are being kept. And we don't look to make sure what we think being according to the law saying reformatory are really implemented by changing their life, making sure they will not get back to the crime. It was due to the flooding. And the flooding happened, most of them, you cannot expect them to hold their hands. Some of them will find their way. But the truth of it is that if you check the manpower in all those areas, they are not enough. We have been asking Mr. President to give approval for recruitment of the manpower in correction service. The past administration gave approval of 5,000, but nobody will be able to see that approval later to date. If Maiduguri have enough staffs, they would have been able to checkmate and secure certain things. But a place where it's supposed to be mined by 500 staff and what you have there is 20-something, what can they do? And you have almost about 500 inmates. There is a lot. Infrastructure-wise, it's not something to write home about. Their feeding, we still have to commend President for the one they have done for increasing their feeding to 50%, but it's not enough.
So how much is it now?
It's 1,000, 50% of 750. 1,120 something is the feeding per day. Compared to where we are moving, it was 400, from 400 to 750. 750 is 1,000, and now we are still urging, by God's grace, this 2024, 2025, we are still pleading that Mr. President would still look inward towards it. Private investors need to come in the correction service. When you go to America, it's being managed by private people because they generate a lot of revenue there. But we don't utilize that in this country. So, correction service really need attention. The staffs need attention. All the correction service need attention. The whole country, what was budgeted is 14 billion. What can 14 billion do? 14 billion cannot even complete the Karishi correction 3,000 capacity. Neither Port Harcourt 3,000 capacity. So there is a lot. It should be taking holistical intervention on security-wise, providing a fund for it. Everything is done in an envelope. What do you do when there is an envelope given to the correction service? We try as much as you can. We have written every quarter. We commend the chairman of appropriation. They have been trying their best. But the federal government need to put up special intervention in correction service so that if those areas are being taken care of, all this insecurity will drastically go off. If they put money, they invest in police in correction centers, they put it in army in correction center, a lot of things will take its shape.
Well, hopefully more attention will be given to correctional facilities and inmates across the country. We thank you for watching. I am Victor Azu. I'll see you next time.